What is up, everybody? Week 39 coming in 2024. It's a big race week for coached athletes. So many people prepping for the 70.3 this week. Pretty awesome stuff. This weekend has just been filled with just incredible accolades just from a training standpoint. Marathoners prepping, finishing up that last 20 miler for Chicago. Those getting ready to start those big 20-mile rides, 20-mile runs for New York City. And then also on the racing front, amazing first-time Ironman athletes in Maryland, World Championship athlete racing in Nice, France. First-time Olympic athlete, Olympic distance triathlete coming in this weekend on the way to their first 70.3 before the year's end. Couple local races as well. And it's just pretty incredible to have, watched and just seen where everybody was locally and abroad racing and training all weekend. It was pretty awesome. It's seems like there's just certain weekends of the year that wind up like that. And as a coach, it's pretty incredible to see the dedication and discipline and consistency that the athletes put in, be able to be validated out there on race day, or even when their workouts and training get to these big blocks on the weekend and they're able to get through them with great resolve and great effort, and it's pretty amazing stuff. But for the Jones Beach 70.3 athletes, since there's a big bulk of the coached athletes getting ready for that, it's time. The weekend's done, the training's there, we're done. Rest, keep the body primed, watch that taper video, learn that it's important to get some of these higher intensity short volume efforts in just to keep the body and the system firing, especially if you feel healthy. If anything's been bothering you leading up to this, now's the time to kind of rest it a little more. We don't want to push past any of that. Hopefully though, you're getting to the start line healthy. And it's now time to just visualize the race, visualize your plan, visualize the fueling. Really heading into that day, there should be no surprises. Read the athlete guide, get ready, write down your plan, and execute that plan come race day. And, by the time you get to this race, I'm a big visualization person. And I've, just run this race many times in my head. Again, it helps to have done this race before, but if it's your first time doing this race, just try and put yourself through the paces all week. The night before, the morning of, the swim, the bike, the run, transitions. Come up with if just scenarios like, if this happens, how will I take care of that? That could be a mechanical aspect all the way to a fueling, nutritional aspect, or anything that happens out there. And it really just comes down to this point. The training is done. You are the only one that can really assess. I can, as a coach, tell you what I think how your training went. But you're the one that received the plan, had the plan laid out, volume, intensity, all these other things that come with endurance sports. And it's really up to you now to, really come up with your own report card on how your training went. If you didn't get the sessions in you thought you were getting, you took a little too many sessions off, you're approaching this race maybe a little different than you thought you would have maybe been approaching it 4 to 5 months ago, that's fine. We will adapt and overcome on race day, and we'll have the race that you've put the training in for and the race that you deserve. If you've put in the countless amount of sacrifices and effort that you had to make to get to the start line at the greatest potential that you think you can get for yourself, then we're going to come up with some good plan for race day and put it together, and we're going to make it happen. Now, again, you got to take ownership of what happens on race day. Things happen. It is what it is. You may have the best training, everything worked out. You may be ready to put down a world-class performance, and anything can happen on race day, and that's fine. If you get in the mentality of just enjoying the journey and the path to race day, that's really where it's won. The medals and things like that hang around the house and wherever you wind up storing them, they're good reminders of the work you put in, but deep down inside, you were there for every one of those efforts. That's what really it is. I like the whole. There's a picture online I like to see of 3 people standing on a podium, and below the earth below them shows this huge mountain that just sprawls out like a triangle, and it has all different blocks in there of just consistency, dedication, sacrifice, all these big blocks of what people don't see versus what they do see is just the final result. So you know, though, what the foundation was that you put into it. And from this point forward, it's just mindset. Mindset is, you know, if you know you put, even if you didn't put all the work in you thought you could have put in for this, and, you know, it didn't make some of the sacrifices that some others made, that's fine. But from this point forward, and just in general, mindset is such a huge role in endurance sports. And maybe that's why I take to endurance sports so much is mindset starts with your thoughts and the words that come out of your mouth. If you say, you know, I think I put some good training in, but whatever happens on race day happens. It is what it is. You know, I don't think I'm going to be able to put into good of an effort. As soon as you start putting those thoughts together or those words out into the open, that just begins the negative slide for race day. Now, there's a fine line though between maybe knowing that you didn't put in the right amount of work or the work that you should have put in for it, and kind of telling yourself, you know, I got this, I'm going out here, I'm going to crush it. Like, it's good to have that mentality, but you also have to be reasonable in setting those goals and that mentality. But just try not to put that negativity out there, especially damn well if you earned, you know, this start line and you're earning that effort out there. Like, if you put in all the work that you were supposed to put in, like, own it and be confident in your abilities going out there. Remember all those weekends and miles and everything that you've done leading into that race day, whatever race day that may be for you for that A race. You know, you own the work that you put in or you didn't put in. That's really the bottom line for that. Now, shifting focus is something that I did notice, and I've been noticing the last couple of years with coaching and things like that. If this is a big race or the biggest race you've done to date, and I've noticed it especially for the longer distance events like marathon or the Ironman distance event, is you build and peak into this big race. You've made all those sacrifices, and then it affects those people a little bit more. That dedication, consistency, discipline, months and months, sometimes a year of just amazing solid work, checking all those boxes, making them all green on the training peaks there. And you hit the race and you may hit it awesome, hit it so well. And there's just, I think this, I don't even know what to call it, is what happens after that is there's just nothing. I've seen it more times than it, you know, I would want to see as a coach, is going from being almost, you know, basically top shape, top peak performance of your athletic endeavors as an adult, and you know, just kind of not having a plan afterwards or not doing much of anything afterwards, and that inevitable slide downward. It's kind of like the post-race depression, some people call it, and it's kind of a real thing. And that's why I like to make sure that we talk about these things before that happens, before the finish line of that race. Start having those ideas, maybe where the season entails to go afterwards, even if it's not racing, specific blocks of training or what the goals are for those blocks of training. One athlete, you know, he just did some of his first triathlons this past year, worked up and did an Olympic distance, and, you know, he kind of very busy life, and it was tough to even get the training in for that, and it was kind of like, now what? I enjoyed the race, but what do we do now? I said, well, let's take a look. What do you want to do? Like, let's break this into months. You know, so we've have now some mini goals leading forward. Getting back onto, gave him a little break off, getting onto a really easy, consistent base building schedule that can get in the volume or miles that he can get in with his schedule right now. Make some dietary goals, you know, trying to brush up the diet, trying to lose a couple pounds. That's going to help him next season. And that's something we can do now on the off season, because that was very hard for him to do while he was in season and trying to perform, because you do have to fuel your body. It's hard to do that in a deficit. So he's kind of set onto that path now for a good off season, and hopefully we can work together and continue on with those goals. But it doesn't have to be some crazy audacious goal or this big thing. I know you just came from riding high, and you know, maybe do some short course work. I love coming off of either when it was an Ironman build or marathon build, and then having fun down the distances for the rest of the year, because you can tone your volume down, where you can go race a half marathon if you still have the fitness, you know, peak into that. Then you can race some local 10Ks or 5 or 10 milers, whatever it may be, and kind of get some really good results because you have so much fitness built in. But inevitably, don't forget to take some time off, get into some strength training. Again, these are all things that should be talked about. I think it's people going from having such a specific goal and the journey to get there to not really having a goal at that time. But for endurance sports, that can always be a goal. It doesn't have to be a race. It can just be certain aspects of endurance training outside of the race course that we can work on to better next time when you lead into the race. And now conversely, this leads into a quick conversation on planning for next year. You're going to hit these A races, and everybody gets these, I need to get something on my calendar type goals. And if you're looking to progress and get better at endurance sports, planning your year plays a huge role in that. You could be a casual racer, and what I mean by that is someone who just signs up for races just to go have some fun, kind of get pressured in to do some races from your friends. You sign up for a bunch, you kind of hand them to me or your coach. They kind of plot them all out on the calendar, figure out how to get you from point A to point B, back to point A, and then to point C, and it's all over, distance-wise, and we just kind of get you there. But planning it precisely is, or smart, is a much better way to go about it, and that's something that we should talk together about, or you and your coach, so that you can plan out the races in the best way that they can lead into the best success for each race, and that's a conversation that you probably should have. And if you're somebody who, has been struggling to stay healthy all year and get through the races you already had signed up for, maybe it's time to take a small pause in adding all these things to the schedule and spend some time. Again, you can spend off season on working on certain things that will help you for next year, working on some of those weaknesses, maybe healing some of those reoccurring injuries. Because if you're an athlete who keeps having these reoccurring issues that keep sidelining you and you're not progressing, you actually have the chance of really hurting yourself and not being able to do this at all for a period of time, which I know nobody wants. Or just progressively, keeps happening over and over again, this reoccurring injury where it's going to just stop you from being the better version of you or trying to progress forward. And then you kind of just get bummed out and wonder why you're not progressing. The best way to do things is, again, take the stairs, enjoy the journey, fix things that need to be fixed before progressing forward. And as a coach, that's the best coach-athlete relationship, is to be able to work like that. Smart and have this all-in approach between the two of you, and that's going to take you from the start line that you're looking for to the finish line and getting it there. And that's why I love multi-season athletes, helping athletes season after season. This past weekend, first time Ironmaner in Maryland, phenomenal time. She did a phenomenal job. I pulled up the email from the beginning of last year. I believe it was it was January, February of 2023 when they first contacted me. They actually had contacted me right before that winter about swimming. I recommended a master swim team. I said, learn how to swim, get in the pool, come talk to me, as the year turns. They reached out. And their goal was 70.3 for last year, and it was one of those, let's sit down and have a conversation. Let me know what it entails, because I do have a very busy life, family life, work life, and I just want to know if it's possible. Fast forward 19, 20 months later from that conversation over email that we had, and we've been working together, and now they've completed 3 70.3 distance events, qualified for the Boston Marathon, and also had a phenomenal time in their Ironman this past weekend. And I will say that person is one of the most consistent and dedicated athletes I have on board, where they told me multiple times that I'm just trusting the process and trusting the journey. Tell me what to do, tell me how to do it, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to trust it. And they've trusted me the whole way along, and I'm thankful for them for that. And, the sky's the limit for you if you keep going forward with this. So again, set the standard, keep it, finish your season, figure out what you want to do next season. Try and avoid large gaps in training. That's how we get better year after year. Because you set a new standard every year. You set a new just level of training every year, and we're able to tweak on that. If we take too much time off, we might be back just doing the same training program we did the year before, just to get you back to where you were for that past start line. So it's just about consistency over and over and over again, and just hammering it out. So race week for most people right now, or races coming up, those A races, everybody just keep getting after it, keep your head in the game, keep trusting the process, keep eating that food, carb up this week for those racing, just keep eating. You should be eating anyway as it is, and we're going to head into race day. We're going to rock next weekend. It's going to be 2 big weekends back to back, and then it's marathon season, run season after that, and it's going to be pretty incredible from there. So stay safe, stay healthy, keep balancing that life 1 mile at a time, and we'll see you on the next one.